Hello there, my crafty friends. It's Ashley Pfeiffer, the maker behind Stamped AF. I wanted to show you two cute host stamp sets from the mini and celebration catalogs. Well, mini catalog celebration brochure. So Make a Splash is, you can get this for $13 Canadian when you spend $200 before taxes and shipping, Canadian, obviously. And then the Little Ladybug, it's kind of controversial, highly sought after stamp set, because for this one you have to have an order of $375 before taxes and shipping to get this one. Now it is free when you get to the $375, but that's a pretty big order. So I just had a class yesterday where great participation both for the in-person and the make and take packet. So anyone that either attended or purchased the kit was entered in a drawing for their very own stamp set of this. It was amazing. And I want to show you one of the cards that we made yesterday. This was our fourth and final card. It is a Vellum shaker card, and it was so much fun that I decided I wanted to show you how to make it, but with the Make a Splash stamp set. So I made a sample this morning, and I'm not crazy about how this one turned out. So we're going to do it a little bit differently. It's going to be more of an aquarium versus the fishbowl, but similar idea. So let's get our craft on. This card looks super complicated, but trust me, it's not. I found the Vellum shaker card idea from, I believe it's Amanda Wilkinson. She's a UK demonstrator, Ink and Inspiration, I think. I should know all this. I can put the link below. But I found her video and it was fantastic. It was so easy. So this is, this was when I was doing my sample from this card. So just this card is so straightforward. I use the Please as Punch raindrops in place of the Whisper White here. Same idea with the double stitched rectangles. To get these dots, we use just a cheap dollar store pencil. This one's been used quite a bit, but a new pencil, and just ink it with Memento and stamp it on. And then it wipes away. You never know what was on there. So that is the Ladybug one. We are going to use the little fish tank pieces from this stamp set. I haven't yet done this guy, so we might do him. I'm thinking we're gonna turn it sideways because an aquarium would be landscape, right? Instead of vertical. Is that right? Landscape instead of portrait. I'm mixing my things. But I also wanted to bring in these because we're gonna need some bigger pieces. So Sea of Textures just for a couple of the foliage stamps. And we may add more, but we'll see. Depends how much we really want to have going on. But let's do this part first. This is not quite the mechanism, but it's the shaker element. So I'm going to bring in my Simply Scored. And we did give this a shot with the Stampin' Trimmer yesterday, but I found that it wasn't scoring quite where I needed it to, and it either went too deep or not at all. So the sizes. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then this is 3 by 4 1/4. And I'm hoping those measurements are right. We'll see. So we're going to go 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. And as a righty, I find it easier to start over here instead of awkwardly trying to get my arm in there. Now, I am ambidextrous, so that is beneficial, but still awkward. So you don't want to score too deep, but I'm just going to go over all of these one more time. If you push too deep, you can pierce the vellum. Also, I'm using the blunt end of my stylus. If you use this one, chances are you are likely to puncture it. So just a couple things to keep in mind there. Now we're going to take our vellum, and usually what you would do is where you score, you fold it back. But with vellum, you want to score it towards you. And I'm not sure, I just got that on the line, but it will be hidden anyways. So just fold towards you. And now we're going to take some scissors and not going right to the edge. You don't want to cut your envelope. You want to miter these so that everything's going to lie down and not have a whole bunch of bulk. And basically for my class yesterday, I demonstrated this this part of the technique, and they were off to the races. So really simple. We're going to put tear and tape on all 4 sides. Do not release it yet. Yeah, it moved on me. Kind of tricky that it's folded first, but it seems like a critical step. Okay, so now we can do a little bit of stamping on this, because with my ladybug card we just used DSP and there was nothing we had to do. But for this one we need to create a bit of a background, which is where we're going to bring in our stamp. Now I don't even know if we're going to see this, and I don't know if it'll really work. I think I'm going to skip the bottom because it's really meant for the fishbowl. Take a quick look and see if there's something else I have that might work. I think I'm just gonna color it. So I'll mount these 3 pieces, the little foliage pieces, onto some blocks. And then maybe we could use that as the bottom of our tank. Like the sandy level. I'm gonna use crumb cake for that. Another thing that I tried this morning that didn't quite pan out was using the new Vellum from Celebration as my vellum instead of just clear vellum cardstock. But I could not see through it. All the detail got lost, so I would highly recommend just regular vellum. I'm just gonna take my light crumb cake and fill in any gaps there. And it will soften it so that it looks a little more smooth. Okay, and then we've got our super long pieces. I'm going to mask that part off because I don't need it to go into the sandy area. So I think what we'll do is we'll mask off the stamp versus trying to get the Post-it to stick on there. But I do have a couple more pieces that I want to mount here. And I'll just grab a couple of different colors. So some soft suede, some shaded spruce, pear pizzazz, and let's do mossy meadow. Okay, so this is going to be the one that we mask. And I'll just put one on either side of the card. Key in masking is to remember to take off the tape. I think I'm just going to do this off the side. We could do a couple, stamp off, stamp on. Let's do one more over here to cover the fact that my stamping off didn't reach quite to the bottom. We're just building a scene. We may need a couple different colors, but time will tell. So I'm not sure what any of these colors would be, but I want to do this one in soft suede. There we go. And this stamp is meant to have that texture. If you don't want that texture, just take your Stampin' Write marker in the same color and go over it. You can even add some depth and shading. I know we all love our Stampin' blends, but sometimes Stampin' Write markers still come in handy. Totally went outside the line there. And I'm just gonna bring the bottom here. So don't forget to use your Stampin' Write markers, was the message there. Okay, and then this one I'm gonna do in Shaded Spruce. I love the detail in this one. I have found that when I stamp that one off, it does not give the same effect. It doesn't have the distinctive look to it. Okay. And notice I'm doing each one in different colors. All kinds of colors in nature. Let's bring in some garden green. We'll do this little guy with that. I'm just gonna do one of those. I don't know what it is, but I don't like to do too many of that one. Maybe because of the detail that it has. Okay, and then last is this one with Granny Apple Green. And this is another one that I have found it loses something if it's stamped off. So we've got a nice little gap there. We'll leave that as is. Don't want to crowd it. And I have gone ahead, I've already stamped and fussy cut my fish. It's so simple. This is Cajun Craze, Pumpkin Pie, and Mango Melody, and the cutting is just, it's a no-brainer. Oh, I didn't do this guy. Let's do this guy in Sahara Sand. We'll just do that in back there. Have it mounted to the block, I might as well use it. Okay, and then we've got some cute little bubbles. I'm using Coastal Cabana for that, and I'm just gonna do some random ones here and there. I like to turn it on its side as well. It'll seem like there's something swimming down there. There we go. Keep it simple. So now we can go ahead and adhere our vellum piece. And there was a trick that Amanda shared that I am going to share with you. So I don't know about you, but I love making shaker cards, but the part that I always find to be a challenge is getting the sequins on there without having to quickly flip everything. So I do tend to work with the sequins on top of my paper, and then I'll just kind of layer everything down. This piece of vellum is a little bit, sorry, the vellum isn't bigger. The cardstock inside is a little bit smaller than I had yesterday. Let me do this side. So there is some room for it to move, which made for a very sharp piece right there. You want it to be right at the bottom. I don't know if tear and tape caught it somewhere along the way. Well, it's taped there, so we're kind of stuck with it, but also our little frame is going to allow some forgiveness. Doesn't it look cute already? Okay, so to avoid the awkwardness of having to put everything on and flip it quickly, we are going to stuff our little envelope here. And the sequins that I used were the woven threads, the iridescent sequins, the snowflake ones, which I believe are retired, but I wanted some filler. And then this part's totally optional, but I have all of these sequins that I bought at Michael's right when I became a demonstrator and before I realized that I was only going to be using Stampin' Up! Product. But these ones, they're iridescent like these, but they're clear. And they are so pretty behind the vellum. So I just had to use some. So I'm gonna take some of these. I don't remember if these retired, if they're hibernating, if they're coming back. I don't know what the case is, but they were cute. And I know these ones are now sold out, but I'm sure a lot of you out there have them. So I'm just going to be using the Bermuda Bay ones. I tend to stop using things when they sell out because I want people to be able to shop with me and buy what they want. But also, people out there have already invested in this stuff and gotten stuff that they wanted, like these sequins, so why not use them? And I need to get rid of this. This is all that I have left, so I've used them well. I honestly thought they were going to be less popular. I did not expect them and the kerchief card kit to be the first to sell out. I figured the Golden Honey DSP would have been gone like in the first couple weeks, but surprise, surprise. Okay, now I'm going to take the Seaside Spray and the Pretty Peacock from these ones. I don't want any of the Terracotta Tile or the Rococo Rose. Okay, that should be good. So I'm going to peel this last piece of tear and tape and seal up this envelope. So I have a Whisper White card base here, and it's actually a top folding one, but we'll use it as a side folding. And when Amanda did hers, she used tear and tape on the back, but I'm using my trusty Tombow. You could use just tear and tape on the vellum and then glue on the cardstock. Shake the contents around so that you can press it down. And then what we're going to do, like we did yesterday, is use the foam adhesive strips. And I like to just eyeball it, I don't measure it. Now the one thing I'm going to tell you here is that it has to go right next to the vellum. Oh, look at that. That's some pretty good eyeballing. If you put it any further away, it will be too close to the edge and you'll see it. So there is our fun little shaker aquarium. And now all I'm going to do, and like I said, you have the option to put this on the inside, but I am going to glue it on the outside. And when I did this one, I popped them up on dimensionals, only because there wasn't a lot of dimension, like this is pretty flat. But because I've used the adhesive foam strips on this, I've already got that added height. So I am just going to use some Tombow. And I stamped those bubbles, so I would like to have it so it looks like that fish is blowing those bubbles. Kind of a small tank for this many fish. And then just to give them a bit of shine, we'll use some Wink of Stella, and this will help to blend the color together so it's less distinctive, and that's okay. Doesn't lose all definition. Okay, one final touch. This part is totally optional, but I'm gonna do it because I can. So I have the frosted and clear epoxy dots. I'm thinking we'll put a couple of the frosted. These ones are so gorgeous. So yes, we have bubbles in there. You know what? This is gonna add too much height. Too much. They're too thick. We'll add a couple of the holiday rhinestones. And we're just gonna add them in a couple of random spots. Just to add some more shine. Okay, and then lastly, I think I've said lastly already, but we need a sentiment on here somewhere. So let's do Just Keep Swimming. I love that one. Who doesn't love a good Finding Nemo quote? I'm going to heat emboss it with white, just to bring in the colors from the background, from our sequins. Probably should have used my embossing buddy, but not bad. I'm not sure that it's going to fit in here. It does, it does. I'm going to cut off that end and then just use some glue. I didn't need it right to the end, but it'll be sticky nonetheless. Okay, so that is our card. I hope you enjoyed the Vellum shaker card. And if you have any questions about getting either one of these host stamp sets for your own, just send me a message. I would be happy to help you out with that. And that's all. You could totally put a sentiment on the inside, but I've gone back to my old ways and I'm totally neglecting the inside. Let me show you. So there's the little ladybug one, and I used the poppies sequins in there and just some black and white ones that I had. Contraband, if you will, but it needed a bit more. And then here's the one we just made. So again, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you have any questions, please just send me a message, private message me, email me at stampedaf@gmail.com. If you would like to know more about getting your very own discount by purchasing the best deal in the catalog, which is always the starter kit, then again, just send me a message, and we will see you soon, my crafty friends. Bye.